All right, we are live on YouTube and once again also simulcasting live on Facebook. And this morning, once again, there are going to be no fancy graphics, no fancy intro. We're just going to get right to it. Not quite sure how long I'm going to be on for. Probably at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour. If we get some people that show up, which I don't expect too many people to show up in the middle of the night here, then we may go an hour and a half. But I'm assuming this show will last somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes. Before we get to that, let me just make sure that the YouTube notification has gone out, and it has. And let me check out the YouTube back end. Make sure that everything is rolling smoothly. And it is. And like I mentioned, we're also once again simulcasting live on Facebook. So let me just check that out for a second here before we get right to it. Facebook, so let me just check that out for a second here before we get right to it. Beautiful. Can you see that? It's like picture in picture, huh? So let me just check that out for a second here before we get right to it. Excellent. Excellent. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Hump Day, Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. It is 6:15 a.m. Eastern, 3:15 a.m. Pacific time here in my neck of the woods. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area in Northern California, San Mateo County, Redwood City to be exact. Glad you could join me here today. If you're here live, feel free to chat on the YouTube or Facebook end of things, and I will be answering your questions as they come in the middle or in between, what I'm going to be mentioning here. And where am I going to start? Where am I going to start? I have a lot on my mind. And if you caught my last stream that I did last night, it was in the evening last night. I mean, I still have not gone to sleep. Most of you that have been following me for a while know my sleeping pattern has been off. And I tried to get to sleep earlier, but I couldn't. So I said, you know what? Let me just get some things off my chest here that I wanted to get off my chest for a while. And that will help me go to sleep. I have a feeling, if I get this all off my chest here, I'll be able to sleep. So, like I said, I plan on being on maybe 30, 60 minutes, an hour and a half max. And hopefully by around 4 a.m. or so, 4:30, I can hit the sack, fall asleep, get up around 9 or 10, and get my sleeping pattern back on track. And if you've been following me for a while, I've been pretty much doing 2 streams a day. And I've just been going hard in the paint, which is a basketball term. Going hard in the paint, so you can, reach that basket and, hit that slam dunk, right? Right? That's, what aspiring YouTubers and aspiring business owners that have a, passion for their purpose do, right? So, earlier, when I did that live stream, one of my, subscribers or followers, not sure if he's a sock account, not sure who he really is, doesn't really matter, but he was mentioning something about a woman that's been a moderator on my channel that asked me to do a stream, several days ago regarding long distance relationships. And, him and a few other people were telling me that, I said way too much and, I made her feel uncomfortable and this and that. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this stream. I was thinking about that. That's not the only instance that triggered me to want to talk about this topic here. There have been many other instances when I've dealt with people that they felt the same way. Many people feel like I'm, how do I say this the right way? Maybe a little abrasive. Maybe a little bit too hard on people, maybe a little too in your face. And while it may appear that I come off that way, and I own that, that's not who I am. I want to make it very clear that I'm actually a really good guy and I do care about people. But I also want to make it very clear why I come off that way and where that stems from. Okay. If you've been following me for a while, you've heard me talk about this before in the past, that, a little boy and a little girl, ends up, following the behavior of their mother and their father, right? And so, a little girl is going to look up to her father as the example and the role model of the type of man that she's going to seek for a relationship. And a little boy is going to look up to, his mother as the role model of the example of the type of woman that he's going to be attracted to want to date, maybe possibly marry, etc., right? But you also learn a lot, from the same-sex parent as well. Bruce Carpet, whatever. It's Bruce Carpel. If you're here to troll, man, I don't think you're understanding the point of the stream, bro. If you're, troll from, the drama group, just own your mistakes. Like, dude, this is not even about that, dude. This is about sharing with people things that have been on my mind, and sharing with people a little bit more about the type of person I am and why I am the way I am, why I come off the way I come off, and what it actually means. So, not talking about you, just saying in general. Okay, cool, right on. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify it. This is not a stream about me owning up to stuff and owning up to mistakes. I've talked about that stuff in the past. I've also mentioned, just because I'm a life coach, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect individual. Nobody is. Okay, I do the best I can. But I'm here to address something because I think people out here on YouTube, and maybe even some people on the Facebook side of things, and even people in my life outside of social media, have misperceived who I really am. And, they misperceive how I come off and what I mean by the way I come off. So I wanted to share that so people can understand that I'm actually truly here to help people, and I have people's, best interest in my head and heart, which is what I'm trying to say. So, when it comes to dating relationships, growing up, I would look up to my mother, for the type of woman I would be attracted to want to date. But when it comes to being a man, I look up to my father as a role model. I look up to my father to see how he ran the household. How much of a man was he? What did he do for the family? How did he handle difficult situations? Was he cool, calm, and collective? Was he strong? Or did he always get upset? Did he get angry? And, when I look back, because my father passed away, almost 13 years ago, it'll be 13 years in April. When I look back at how my father never really got angry, even though that's how I perceived it to be back then. But in essence, my father was a very passionate man that had a no-nonsense attitude. He had a no-nonsense attitude, and he didn't put up with any BS. He was the nicest guy in the world, and he could be your best friend, and he loved everyone. But if you tried to pull a fast one on him, if you tried to pull any BS on him, he would call you out. And he'd be stern about it. And he wasn't angry, but he would call you out with authority. And that's where I got that from. So I want you folks to understand that my approach on how I speak with people and how I handle difficult situations and how I handle situations that are pretty touchy, right? I'm very, very stern about those situations because I feel that if I'm not, then it's not going to impact people in any way, shape, or form, right? Now, granted, I understand being stern and being that upfront might be a little bit scary or too much for certain people, and it might scare them away. But even if it does scare them away, I learned that at least they're going to remember what I said. And at some point, when they, end up taking my advice by accident and it changes their life, they're going to compare what they did to what I said. And they're going to be, wow. So Eli wasn't being mean to me. He wasn't attacking me. He wasn't being rude. He really cared about me, but he had to shake me up with a little emphasis because I was being stubborn, and there would have been no other way he or anyone else could have gotten through to me to help me out with that issue, right? I'm sorry to interrupt. Please continue. You're not interrupting, man. I didn't even see that till now. It's not a big deal. Bruce, are you from the other side? You can be honest, bro. I'll let you stay. You're on a sock account. How'd you find out about this channel? I'm sure I know you. It's the middle of the night. Well, early in the morning on the East Coast, but middle of the night where I'm at. I'm just curious to know how you found out about the channel. Not a big deal. It's all good. So yeah, I started to really think about all of my experiences, not only out here on YouTube, all my experiences in dealing with people out here on YouTube over the past 4 years between my former channel and this one. But I also started to think about my interactions with people off of YouTube during this time and before I even, came out on YouTube on my former channel when I first started my coaching business 4 years ago. And, I started to wonder, what's really going on here? I really care about people. I have a lot of energy. I've got a lot of great material. I mean well. I really, truly want to help people. But it just seems like people keep getting scared away by my style. Yes, I am from the other side, but I'll be respectful. Well, let me ask you something, Bruce, and no disrespect. Respectfully asking. If you're from the other side and you consider me a lolcow, because if you support the other side that supports me being a lolcow, brother, then why are you here? What's your purpose of being here? Can you be honest? Are you here to troll, or are you here because you're trying to actually be a part of a decent channel for once instead of a drama channel? I'm just curious, dude. It's an honest question. That's all. I'm not triggered. I'm not ticked off. It just makes me wonder why would anyone from the other side be so invested to actually come and chat in my chat, even respectful, when you don't respect me, sir. That's a very fair question to ask. You know what I mean? That's fine. Like I said, as long as you're respectful, I don't have a problem with trolls coming in on sock accounts. As long as they're respectful, no big deal. But I'm sure you're somebody I know and the other side knows. And if you came in on your regular account, you get a lot of heat for that, right? So you're more concerned about what other people are going to think about you rather than just, coming out and being your actual self and not worrying about it, right? It's a fair question, bro. That's all. Maybe you're BBB or 810, one of those two characters, and you're just, you just want to be here. Unknown. Oh, well. No big deal. So, let's talk about my YouTube interactions with people over the last several years. This is one thing that I was going to mention over the past few streams, but I forgot to mention that there was so much going on. A lot of people accused me of attacking the disabled, which I never did. I have a very, very soft spot for people with disabilities or people less than fortunate. Now, it really shouldn't be that way because people just want to be treated equally and fairly, and even disabled people don't want to be looked upon as a special case, right? And, when you have too much of a soft spot for disabled people that just want to live their lives as normal as possible, as close as possible to somebody that's not disabled. When you have a soft spot, too much of a soft spot, they don't like that. They just want to be treated normally, right? So, when I was dealing with many disabled people that I met on YouTube several years ago while going on some networking growth streams out here that used to be run on YouTube. I got along with these people very well. I would go on their live stream panels. They would come on the mine, and we had a great time. And then that other side, Bruce, that you are a part of, infiltrated, these disabled people, reached out to them behind the scenes and brought them on their panels. And then they brought me on their panels with them. And these people would intentionally trigger me before I learned how to deal with the YouTube, before I learned the YouTube game out here, how to play it better. And I said some things. That, I regret. And I honestly regret saying those things because most of the people that I said those things to, I'm friends with behind the scenes nowadays. Bruce says, no, I will not troll. I find you all as television, just entertainment, that is all. I'm not here to entertain people, bro. I'm here to teach life's principles. So you find me entertaining. I mean, I can be entertaining at times, but I'm not an entertainment channel. So maybe it's just there's nothing better to watch right now, and that's all good. That's fine. It's all good, bro. No worries. I'm just curious. Like for me, I don't watch anything that I don't fully support or like. I just don't tune into something because there's nothing better to watch. That's just me. So, just saying, but hey, to each its own, right? I get it. I totally get it. But there was a YouTuber. I'm still friends with him behind the scenes. I haven't talked to him in a little while, but we're connected on Hangouts, and things are good between us. His name is RJ Sanford. He's a blind YouTuber, and I think he's taking a break from YouTube. I think he had sciatica. He had a pinched nerve, similar to what I've been dealing with for almost the last year. And he's just been kind of letting that heal and taking it easy. But, when I first met him and I did a lot of live stream panels, and he and I are great co-hosts of live stream shows. Like him and I can talk for hours, entertain an audience, and talk about very interesting and engaging topics, right? And, he was on a panel one time, and I was on a panel one time, and it was on one of the drama channels that I didn't even realize was a drama channel back then. And these people that were on the panel, including the channel owner, they were inciting the blind YouTuber RJ Sanford. They were telling RJ all these hateful things about me. And RJ is also autistic. He's high-functioning autistic. He has Asperger's. So these people knew that they could mess with, RJ's mind because of his autism and get RJ to say something to me in a hateful way. And that would trigger me to say something to RJ in a hateful way. Well, what happened? They got RJ to say some bad things about me, and they manipulated RJ to believe what they were saying is true. And it got to the point of where I said something very hateful to RJ. I called him a blind, and I'm not going to say it here. Number one, I don't want to be rude. Number two, I don't want this stream getting flagged, and I abide by the guidelines. Okay? I did call him that. I didn't call him that because I was attacking a disabled person. I didn't call him that because he is that. And quite frankly, I don't really like using that word because I have friends that are gay, and I respect them, and they're good people. And, I'm not a discriminatory type of person. Hey, people can live their lives the way they want to live their lives, right? Okay? And, this entire community of people and many other people, they clip this and put it all over the place. There's a video out there, called, Coach Eli's Greatest Hits, created by one of the content creators on the other side. I don't feel like mentioning his name today. Those of you that this pertains to know who I'm talking about. There's a video out there called Coach Eli's Greatest Hits, and that's, one of the videos that shows different clips of where these people triggered me to say things that I didn't mean, because they put me on the spot, and then they would pit and pin these disabled people against me, right? So RJ Sandifer said something terrible to me, and just because he's a blind and autistic YouTuber, that means I have to sit there and just take that and not defend myself, right? Now, I slipped and said something very hateful because I was hurt and it upset me. And that was wrong and very immature of me to do. I admit that. That was wrong and very immature of me to do, right? And I've owned that. I've owned that ever since that time. So I wanted to make it clear that any time that I've reacted in that way, and any time I've approached someone to try and help them, and it comes off like I'm in your face, or, like I'm coming on too strong or something, that's not what it is. That's my passion. That's how much I love doing what I do. That's my style, okay? That is my style that I learned from my father, because my father came from the old country. My father is old school, and I was raised old school traditional Greek. I've shared this story before. I'll share it again because it makes sense for the show here. But when I was younger, I was a little pain in the you-know-what, okay? I would stir the pot. I was behaving maybe not as bad as some of these, Dramasphere people behave nowadays, but pretty close. But I was, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, right? When you're between age 5 and 12, it's still not right to behave that way, but you're like 12 years old or under, right? When you reach your 30s, behaving like a 12-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old is pretty pathetic and immature. But back in those days, I used to, try to pull some stuff and get away with some stuff. And whenever my father would see me do these things, he would catch me doing these things, he would take off his belt and then, corner me up against the wall. And he didn't use the belt to try to kill me or anything. No, but I felt the belt. I got whipped by the belt, and I learned discipline, right? I learned discipline. And after the first time my father did that, every time I was, heading down that same path of doing something stupid, all my father had to do was start unbuckling his belt. He wouldn't even say a word. He would stand up and he would start unbuckling his belt slowly. And he would do it right in front of my face so I could see it, right? And every time he would do that, I'd be like, okay, Dad, okay, right? I was like, I didn't want to get the belt, right? I didn't want to get the belt. So I stopped doing what was causing me to get the belt, right? That's discipline, right? And so that's the upbringing I had. I had an upbringing of being raised to be a strong, secure, mentally and emotionally strong and secure man that, is not going to do stupid things, but also, if people try to pull stupid things on me, I'm going to defend myself, but I'm not going to overdo it. I'm not going to lose my emotional self-control. That's how my father raised me to be. So that's why I am the way I am. That's why I come off. Some people think I come off abrasive or harsh or too in your face. Some people think I try too hard. No, I don't try too hard. I make effort. You got to try if you want to succeed. You got to put in some effort, right? I'm not a quitter. I go full force. When I want something, I go after it. That's how my father was, and that's how he taught me to be. That's how he taught me and raised me to be. So again, when you go back to all of these situations of people I encountered over the past 4 years out here on YouTube, many of you got the wrong idea about me. And many of you out there to this day, are saying you still haven't owned it. You still haven't taken ownership for what you've done. I have taken ownership for what I've done. And that's why I was thinking about this. My mind was consumed by this, and there was just so much on my mind regarding this. And I was just trying to figure out, what is it about me that is scaring these people away and setting certain people off and creating this chain reaction of, okay, I build an audience of 100 people, and then next thing you know, that audience is gone for whatever reason, whether a drama community comes in and steals them, or they just leave because I'm coming off a way that they don't understand, that they misperceive, right? I was thinking about that. Because here's the thing. If an audience is following you and they like you, there's nothing that any other audience, even a drama audience, can do to steal them away. So I was thinking to myself, it has to be something I'm doing. But at the same time, this is how I've always been. And I know I'm a good guy, and I know my intentions are pure, right? So, like I said, when I was taking Epsom salt earlier, before the show started, I was thinking, what is it? It's my delivery. It's how I'm coming off. And it's also that I'm dealing with 2 or 3 different generations. If you look at, I come from Generation X. My father was a baby boomer, and so is my mother, right? I come from Generation X, right? But a lot of my audience, especially a lot of the audience from the drama groups, not all of them, but many of them are millennials, and they're post-millennials, the I generation, Gen Z, Gen Y and Gen Z. I'm Gen X, right? I started to think, well, where's the, how do I say this the right way? Where's the problem, right? Where's the issue? Where's the communication, difficulty happening, right? And I started to realize that the way that I'm speaking is resonating with certain people, maybe most people around my age or older, maybe, some of the older Gen Xers, but some of the younger Gen Xers that are on the borderline of Gen X and millennial, the way that I'm coming off may not resonate with them. And I started to realize where the issue is at. It's not that, I'm not a good person and I don't care about people and I'm not trying to come off as a jerk. I come from a different generation. I was raised differently. I was raised old school. I was raised to be a good yet strong, confident man that does not put up with BS, but also goes hard at everything that he loves to do, including helping people. I go all in. When I'm helping someone, I give you every last bit of my heart and my soul. For many people, they're not used to people like me, and it's too much, right? I get it. It's too much. And that's why I wanted to do this stream. I wanted to do this stream so you folks out there from the past or in the future understand what I've been through and who I am. No rest for the wicked. Wow, this guy's sleep schedule is as bad as mine. Are you from the other side too? Like, why are you folks coming in here on stock accounts? Why can't you come in on a regular account? Why do you have to hide in plain sight? Who's going to scold you? Are you afraid that some people from the other side are going to scold you? Like, come on. Hang on. Give me a second here, folks. Bruce says, well, some of them might want an individual apology from you depending on what you did to upset them. I didn't upset anybody. You're misunderstanding the show, dude. I did not upset anybody. I did not attack anybody. I'm explaining to you my delivery style. Do you not comprehend what I'm saying, bro? Seriously. 2 out of 3 accounts blocked, and you wonder why I tried to come in here as who I am, who you would know. Well, who are you, Blue Jay? Why don't you tell me who you are? Geez, I was just curious from Rogue's Discord. No worries, dude. I get trolled a lot, dude. It's my style. This is who I am. I'm a straightforward, straight up guy. You guys can't take a strong guy? Like, seriously. I'm an old school strong guy. Are you a millennial or a Gen Zer? No big deal. Maybe you come from a different generation. I'm trying to explain this to you guys, and you guys don't get it, right? You guys don't get it. You know, all of you Gen Y and Gen Zers, right? You're millennials and post-millennials. You're raised with a golden spoon. You're raised, you know, not having to earn anything. I'm not saying all of you, but many of you. Nowadays, you participate, in a sporting event, and whether you finish in first place or last place, you get a participation trophy. What kind of crap is that, right? You get a participation trophy, right? I'm beginning to really realize what's happening here. And again, I'm going to help as many people as possible that are open to my help. And the people that are mature are going to understand what I'm saying here tonight. The entitled people, no disrespect, a lot of millennials and post-millennials are very entitled, especially the millennials, right? You were never taught discipline. You were handed everything on a silver or golden platter, right? So when you have someone like me that's an old school, stern but fair guy. I'm a fair but firm guy. You guys don't want to put up with that, right? You don't want to deal with that, right? Because you don't want to accept any responsibility, right? My bad, dude. I am a dumb. For what, dude? For what? For what, Bruce? You're not a dumb guy, dude. If you made an honest mistake, it's not a big deal. Well, some of them might want an apology, an individual apology. I'm not here to apologize, dude. In the past, I've apologized in general if anyone ever felt that I harmed them. And maybe I'll do the same thing again now. It's not a big deal. What I'm here to say is that we have a generation gap between the boomers, Gen X, Gen Y millennials, and Gen Z post-millennials. We have a huge generation gap, and we all communicate differently, right? And some of us are raised differently. Now, some millennials and post-millennials are raised with Gen X and baby boomer values. I'm not saying everyone's like that. So I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm just saying that there's a huge generation gap happening right now more than ever before. And I think that's why a lot of people that have come across my channel, especially people under 40, right? People under 40, right? That have come to my channel might feel they don't resonate with my message, even though I'm a good person that speaks on many valid points and good stuff. They think my delivery is very harsh, and they think that I'm very angry when I talk. No, I'm not angry. I'm not. This is my passion. I'm old school. Do you folks understand what old school is? Like, I'm old school, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a cool guy to hang out with, and I can have fun. But if you do me or any of my friends wrong, I'm going to put you in your place. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I'm going to call you out every freaking time. Gold Spoon, all my earliest Christmases, we were on welfare. I'm sorry to hear about that. No rest for the wicked. Maybe you learn differently. Listen, I'm not here attacking or trying to stereotype anyone. Golden plastic spoon, maybe. That's pretty funny, bro. That's a good recovery right there. Thank you. Bruce says, yes, a lot of things are different nowadays. If you get the belt, they consider it child abuse. Right. And I'm glad you brought that up, Bruce, because I was going to say, look, nowadays, you can't discipline your kids anymore. So look at how these millennials turn out. Right? You can't discipline your kids and teach them valuable lessons that I learned getting a little bit of the belt when I was younger, right? And look at how these kids turn out, right? Look at how they turn out. And that's where the generation gap is at. That's where you have, and I'm not saying all millennials and post-millennials are like this, but that's why you have a lot of entitled millennials. It's not that they want to be that way. It's the way their parents raised them. And it's also the law stepping in and saying, you cannot touch your children at all. You cannot use any physical, aspects to discipline your kids. So you can't spank your kids. You can't use the belt. And it's not about beating the crap out of your kids. It's about putting the fear of God in them, saying, look, I want you to turn out normal and decent and not messed up like some people end up, becoming, right? So I'm going to teach you to not behave this way by giving you a little slap on the wrist, right? Or, a little, spanking with the belt, right? Or a paddle, right? And the next time you try to do it, all I'm going to do is show you the paddle, show you the belt, and you're going to stop doing it. And eventually you won't even try because you know it's going to happen, right? It's called being held accountable, right? Being held accountable for your actions, right? Which kids nowadays are not being held accountable for their actions, right? So, I myself probably come off to a lot of these millennials and post-millennials when I speak, kind of like a father figure that they don't want to have. I'm not trying to come off like a father figure, but you're perceiving it that way because you were raised in a different generation with different laws and different types of upbringings, right? But at the end of the day, we're in the same world. We're still on Earth. Things are still technically the same, right? And we all need to learn how to be good people, right? Men need to learn to be good, strong, mature, confident men, and women need to learn to be, nice, strong, yet sweet and sensitive type of women, right? That's not how we're raising our kids nowadays, right? For all the reasons I just mentioned, right? So when I come out here and do what I do wholeheartedly, with the best intentions from the bottom of my heart, that's how I honestly feel. And I get backlash for it. I have to look at why I'm getting backlash for it when I truly am doing it because I really genuinely care. I genuinely care, folks. I do. And I think what I'm going to do, because I was thinking a lot about this, right? Like my mind, after my last stream, my mind was flooded. I just for an hour, I just was pacing around my place. It was almost like, I don't know, like my blood was I wouldn't say it was boiling, but I was like jumpy. I was like, I can't sit. Like, I've got too much on my mind, and I really wanted to figure this out. Totally the same, no new normal stuff. What do you mean by that? No rest for the wicked. I think what I'm going to end up doing here on my channel, and those of you that have known me for a while probably remember this. On my former channel, I used to do a series on millennials called Millennial Monkey and Baby Z. And I had these two stuffed monkeys. One's a big one and one's a baby one, right? And I actually have them on my shelf right over there. I'm thinking of bringing back Millennial Monkey and Baby Z. And granted, all you folks can laugh at it the same way you did when I had it on my former channel. But I'm going to do some more brainstorming, and I want to get your feedback, folks. So the millennials and post-millennials, I want honest feedback, whether you're here live or you're watching this on the replay. What can we do? What can a Gen Xer like me do to better understand and get through to you millennials for whatever reason? What type of communication style works for you, right? What works for you and what doesn't work for you? Because I want to help millennials and I want to help post-millennials. I want to help everyone. But like I said, there's a big generation gap, and I've been trying to figure this out for the longest time, and it hit me tonight. It hit me tonight like a ton of bricks. It hit me tonight after what happened to my, previous stream. And why are people perceiving me to be, not all, but some people are saying, oh, you come off rough, or you have a rough exterior, you come off like a jerk, you come off like you're attacking people, when that's not my intention. It's not my intention. Oh, monkeys are cute, duh. Are you a male or a female? No rest for the wicked. It is also the world is going high-tech now. Kids aren't outside. The excuse right now is the coronavirus. However, before that, kids were not outside. They're all inside on electronics no matter what. And when they're outside, they're on their, smartphone as well. I mean, I got mine too, but I know when to turn it on and turn it off. I mean, it's always on, but I know when to use it and when not to use it. I balance it out. Kids are just softer now. Right. Right. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So, look, seriously, I'm asking the millennials and post-millennials, and even the Gen Xers and the baby boomers, I'm asking you folks for your feedback here. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Right? I want to find better ways to reach everyone, because I really want to make a difference by helping as many people as possible get what they want out of life and enjoy their life. And I'll tell you this, when I look at my numbers, my audience is like, it's 30s through 50s, right? So I don't have any audience in the 20s, but basically the people that are watching me are millennials and Gen Xers. No Gen Zers and hardly any baby boomers. I mean, I do have a few baby boomers, and the stats aren't 100% accurate. They're based on how you create your Google account, right? But I'm beginning to really dig deeply into this. And I see this huge divide, and I don't think it needs to be I don't think there needs to be a division, which is what I'm trying to say. How do we get Gen Xers and millennials to communicate better? And how do we get even the Gen Zers, along with the Gen Y and the Gen Xers get along. See, the Gen Y and the Gen Z, they're going to get along because they're pretty much from the same era. The millennials started this new era, and the Gen Zers are the new wave of millennials, but they're a little different than the millennials. But they relate much more closely to the millennials than the Gen Xers. So how can we get Gen Xers and the next two generations, the Gen Y and Gen Zers, to all be able to communicate and get along and understand each other and help each other get ahead? How do we do that? I am Gen Z, but I did not grow up like most of these people. So basically, you were raised with morals, values, and ethics, I'm assuming, right? Rest for the Wicked says, use charades, all gens, no charades. Okay. All right. Folks, get your questions in the chat. I'm going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this short. It's 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific. So get your questions in. Nobody's watching on Facebook right now. We've got 19 people here on YouTube. Let me come out and say this one more time, just to show you folks that I really care about everyone, including the millennials and including the I generation, the Gen Zers, okay? I love everybody. I think that over the last several years that I've communicated with the millennials and post-millennials, there's been such a generation gap that our communication styles are just very different. And when I'm trying to genuinely converse with a millennial, and it's different than what they're used to, and they're speaking to me in a way that they feel is genuine, but I perceive it to be different, right? We have a clash. And I'm beginning to realize that more and more now. And that's why I think I'm going to probably start to focus a little more on the millennials and post-millennials and do a series on that. Because I really want to help our youth learn all the principles I learned at a much younger age. Because I'll tell you, you'll become successful much quicker than I did. You'll get ahead much quicker than I did. And that's what I want to do. Can we see the monkeys? Well, I'm tied up with a headset and they're on the shelf, but I'll tell you what, maybe I'll bring the monkeys on tomorrow. Okay. Eli, can I suggest something if that's okay? You sure, Bruce, you can suggest anything. Go ahead, man. Let me know, because I'm about to go off the air in a second here. Let me know. But again, folks, while I wait for Bruce and any other comments in the chat, look, I'm not a mean person. I care about people, and I am a strong person. And yes, when I'm talking with you folks at times, it may appear like I'm getting in your face. And am I actually getting in your face? Probably so, but not for the reasons you think. I'm not trying to hurt you or attack you. I'm trying to knock some sense into you because I know something that can change your life for the better and give you what you want. And there's no other way it's going to sink in unless somebody hammers it in. That's all I'm saying, folks. I do it with lots of love. No, give me the monkeys now. Jesus Christ. Bruce Carpo, I like these streams where you speak from the mind much more than the blogs. They just seem more genuine. I understand that. That's a good point. You know, a lot of content creators, they, will share information from the internet or put their own spin on it. And in some cases it works, other cases it doesn't. Maybe I'll transition away from that. But in order to do that, I need to have more engagement in the chat, because here's the thing. I like to answer questions from people that are here live, but there has to be people here live for that type of show to happen. If people are not going to be here, then I'm going to do something a little more structured, right? So I get it. You're right. And, that's why, when I do these types of streams, Bruce, I don't do any of the fancy intro. I don't say, okay, today we're going to be talking about this and that. So stick around. That's coming right up. And then boom, going to the bumper. Live from Northern California. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World, right? This is your first time here, right? And all that, right? And then you go into, this is my sponsor, right? So I'm trying to get through this quickly as possible, right? I've tried to shorten the intro, but it's still like 5 minutes of garbage to you guys, right? I'm not saying my sponsor is garbage. I love you, Troy. I'm not saying my bumper is garbage. I like it, right? But what you're just saying here makes a lot of sense. People now on YouTube, their attention span is 0. They want to get right to the point. Maybe we get rid of the bumper altogether. Maybe we get rid of, please subscribe. People are going to subscribe whether you ask them to or not if they want to, right? Maybe we just go live. We hit the live button and just start talking. It's a lot to think about. Bruce, I have to say, your feedback has been great tonight. And I genuinely appreciate it, bro. I'm sorry if I came at you hard earlier. It's just, it's just me, bro. Look, I grew up very disciplined. And, I try to do my best to be a good role model for younger men. That's what I want to do. And I also want to help women too. I want to be a good role model for people, right? And that's why at times, I come up very stern and I don't put up with BS, right? But again, I think I've finally just stumbled upon where the disconnect is at. And I want to work on fixing that disconnect with our millennials and our Gen Zers, the I generation. And I think if we can all learn how to communicate amongst all generations, I think we can create some even better conversation than we already have. That's my thought. No worries, man. It's getting late. You have yourself a good night, sir. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. No rest for the wicked. Put the monkey in the bag, and number one gets hurt. And no one gets hurt. Sorry. Put the monkey in the bag, and no one gets hurt. Sorry, it's late, and I am tired. All right, folks. Please like, share, subscribe. Bang the bell, select all notifications. If you're here on the replay, please put your comments. I want to hear your suggestions. If you're a millennial or post-millennial, please don't take offense to this. Please don't. I want to learn more about your communication style. I want to learn more about Gen Z and Gen Y's communication styles. And I think once we work on that, we can figure out the rest. All right, folks. Time to get on out of here. It is 7:07 a.m. Eastern, 4:07 a.m. Pacific. I want to thank No Rest for the Wicked for being here. Thank you to Bruce Carpel for being here. And anyone else that I missed, and anyone else that was watching behind the scenes. We had about 15 people here, 15 to 20 people throughout the stream. Thank you for being here. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all next time. No end screens, no fancy anything for this stream. That's it. Take care, folks. See you later today, or probably later tonight for the next stream. Bye-bye.